Borough officer and comments, so you can take off and just vote on it.
Thanks. I do. Wendy Williams is coming up.
You're welcome.
He's a boy.
Okay.
We will call this January 12th, 2021 meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to order. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a brief moment of silence. Josh, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And all please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. I will note that we are being recorded right now, both in terms of our live stream, which is being sent out to YouTube for public consumption right now. That's the only way the public has to participate in our meetings. And I will note that if a member of the public wishes to comment or provide public testimony, they may do so by emailing me at mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. I'll also note that we are being recorded internally for our purposes of compiling the minutes. And to that end, if anyone here has anything to say before the board, I would ask that they approach that front table and use that microphone, as that's what's picking up the sound of it to incorporate into those minutes. That being said, we'll move on to row officer reports and comments today. We have two row officers with us today, which is nice. Just out of the necessity of time, I'm going to turn to Josh first, as I know that he has a meeting that he needs to get to, but he does have something on the agenda for later in the meeting. Josh, what do we have going on with Savin? What is Savin?
Savin is a state automated system that provides notification to victims. So, if someone commits a homicide or if someone is the victim of a sexual assault, someone's the victim of a crime, when the defendant is convicted and goes into the state incarceration system, what the Savin system does is it provides notification to the victims of transfers of the inmates, release of the inmate, parole hearings, give them an opportunity to participate in the court process determining the outcome for that particular convict. It's a state-run program. Sadly, it only is focused or addresses inmates that are incarcerated in the state system. It is funded by the state. They offer the contract, they sign it, I think it's every 2 years, and they provide the funding for it. But it is a valuable resource, as it really keeps them informed, because the criminal justice system itself is sometimes very confusing to people who aren't in it every day, or not exposed to it. It can be a bit intimidating, and a lot of times people wonder what happens to this person, or is someone going to tell me when they're released, because I'm fearful. That's what this system was designed to address those types of concerns.
So I'm saying, any questions or comments from my colleagues?
No.
I do, just if you could refresh my oftentimes feeble memory. I seem to recall that in years past, when this would be brought up for renewal, did Attorney Kate Fee Baird usually bring this to us?
Yes, and so this is being handled by Chrissy Monson. She was Kate Fee Baird's replacement as the victim service coordinator. I say for parents, the state really sends us here's the terms of our program. Do you agree or do you not agree to retire?
Right.
I didn't want Chrissy to, she's just learning. I didn't want her to have to come down. I know she was nervous about it, so that's why I'm here.
How's Chrissy doing?
Fantastic.
Of course.
She's, yes.
Yes.
Chrissy's a gem, and she's been trained already in the county systems, so it was kind of a scene.
That's what I'm looking at. Her sitting right behind you.
Oh, I felt the heat on my shoulder.
But
I'm casting no shade. Mr. District Attorney, no shade.
I didn't even look left.
We are like, that's phenomenal. We were sad to lose her, but then know that she was still here with us in the fold is wonderful, because she is and has always been
Always.
an asset to the community. I remember working with her early on in the police department.
I always wanted to hire. And so for me, as soon as Kate retired, I talked to Kate first to find out what she felt about Chrissy, but I've known Chrissy my whole life, and I got to work with her through the drug task force, and she's been phenomenal. So.
Good, that's good to hear.
Yes.
Well, I don't think you're gonna have any issues with us renewing the vital service. But thank you for coming in, and, because I had no idea what it was.
Sure.
So thank you for coming in and
you,
enlightening
Kevin.
me. So feel free to take off. I know you gotta get to that
Okay.
meeting.
I'll
Thanks,
see you.
Josh.
I'll see you.
Alrighty.
Up next, we have Treasurer Rapone here. Year-end treasurer's report.
Yes, sir.
Rich, would you be able to approach the bench?
Good morning, everyone. Nice to
Good
see you.
morning.
Happy New
Yes.
Year.
Happy New
You
Year.
don't realize you don't get to see people as much until you see somebody you haven't seen in a while. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Thank you as well.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I did submit a end-of-year treasurer's report for the board for review, which is going through a few of those items. I'm very happy to say that we did hit the mark of 92% in county collections. And I do want to start off by just thanking our taxpayers who have lost time.
Yes.
It was an extremely challenging and different way for us to provide services, to do business. We weren't sure when this all started how this would end up. So to them, all the credit for showing up once again and doing their duty, and I'm very thankful to them that I can share these numbers with you. All right, so we started off in the year mailing out 52,368 parcels. We ended up collecting year to date 27,856,290.36. And the breakdown of that, if you're interested, over $248,000. A little over 27 million was collected through check and credit card, $548,000. Okay. West Banco at the time collected a little over $770,000 for us, and they were an agent for me through the discount period. All right, with that being said, approximately 2.3 million is being transferred to tax claim, which constitutes 5,430 tax statements. So a total of 46,930 tax statements were satisfied through the county treasurer's office. That's where we get the 92%. Any questions on those?
Yeah, I know that there's a little bit of a lag time between when you 2020 and when you report delinquent taxes,
Yes.
tax claim.
Yes.
Where do so let's say that, I was delinquent, I didn't pay my property tax
Yes.
in 2020 and I want to pay it, January 7th, before you have the opportunity to transfer those delinquencies over to Tish. Where can the taxpayers pay that?
Yeah, here's what I do normally, is because we accept postmark. Okay, normally it's through a holiday, we come back, okay, and there's a lot, okay, so that takes us into the first week of January. Normally, especially this year, I thought it was important to work with the tax. It was so different, it was difficult for them to come in the building and everything. So those that we received calls from, we allowed them to satisfy that, not to add any more frustration to what they had. There's a major amount of payments that are made in December that are erroneous, okay? They are paying the wrong period. They're not paying the right amount. Many have multiple parcels that are incorrect. So what we do is we send out a form letter to them explaining this is incorrect. And I will be very honest with you, the mail, it's tight and difficult because, it's not flowing like it wants you to. So you better give some time to allow it out. So we do honor all those letters that we send out in December. And if some of those came back this past week, we did honor them and process them. And actually, to be quite honest with you, yesterday was the last day for anything. And I thought it was important to give that little bit. We were working with all the letters coming back in that were postmarked. So we ended up closing yesterday afternoon. And that constitutes just all the erroneous payments that were made. Anybody who had
Holiday backlog.
yeah, and everything. We actually got a payment yesterday that it is postmarked on December 30th. So
Right.
we have to accept that because of the postmark. So all that considered, this is where we are with that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think sufficiently. Only other question I have is obviously right now you're getting everything ready to send out the 2021 tax notices. How are we in that process?
You on that too. Okay, where we are on that is everything on our end is completely everything is paid for and done. Where we are right now is we are in the assessment office. He creates the file, but he also relies on all the municipalities to turn in their files, and he makes a master file. So that's where it is right now. So far, in talking with him, we're on the mark and everything. I talked to my vendors this morning, and they said as long as everything is kosher with the file, they're looking at tax bills being not out early February, which is good and everything. So, talking about the 2021 county tax bills, I do want to let you know to the board that there is going to be a county tax outreach this year. Okay, what I did is in December, early December, I reached out to all the municipalities and I had a conversation with the people that are responsible for making that decision. And I told them, God willing, I'm willing to come out with safety measures. We have the plexiglass form with the holes, I have the gloves, we have, the antiseptic, and we provide that on my end and on their end. To me, is these are their buildings, I'm a guest in their buildings, are you comfortable with me coming to you? Because I do not want to put anybody in harm's way. So I said, please talk to your hierarchy, talk to your boards, talk to whoever's in charge, because it's important to me that I have your blessing. So once all those phone calls came back to me, I'm happy to say 22 out of 23 venues want me to show up this year. So that's the plan. God forbid if something goes awry, we do what we did last year. We just put the message out there that because of the pandemic, it's not a good business decision to come on both ends. So that's where we are. So I have a whole schedule that's going to be on the back of the county tax bill and everything, and it actually starts on March 17th. So that's where we are with that. The other thing I'm going to make the taxpayers aware of too is that West Banco has chosen not to be an agent for us this year, in 2021. So they cannot go out there to satisfy their county tax payment. If we're closed to the public, there would be the night box, which was used tremendously. I mean, that was a great decision to do that. The night box, mailing it, of course, and you could pay online. There's the capability on your county tax bill, take you straight to the website to pay online. So that's the only thing that's really changing for this year, and really COVID will drive everything else on how we do business. But I think you see the 92%. I feel confident, that God willing, hopefully we reach that milestone as well too. So that's 13. Let's see, 92%. So
It's amazing how it comes in.
Fantastic.
Amazing how it
Yeah,
comes
yes.
They're the
in.
ones that do
They
it.
do,
We
right.
send it out, I'm just a collector, not provide the payments to us, So that's where we are as far as, we closed out and we're working with EST, our vendor, then they will, transfer everything to Fastmoney, and then, of course, Tish will take over. So we're working with probably about $2.3 million, which is about, 8%. So all in all, I feel it's been a very, very good, productive year as far as tax collection. Exonerated tax, those are driven by the assessment office. At their direction, we do the exoneration. So the total year, there's $116,892.77. And those are through appeals that we have every month or through court orders that we have to exonerate those payments. As you know, we started off with $4.6 million with the Katrina in 2020. We paid it down once, and we paid it off. And overall, we saved, $64,000 on those actions. So that's where we are as far as that goes. Our total dog license sales was 11,568, and total dog license sold were 10,827.
Excellent.
Any questions for the treasurer?
As always, the short amount of time that I've been involved with this, excellent reporting, excellent work. And I'm glad to hear that you're doing the outreach again.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely.
I really
Right.
missed it last year, and
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everybody is safe.
Will you
Was
do
there-
vaccines as well at those locations? I couldn't resist saying it. Will you do vaccines as well at those locations? I couldn't resist it. I was just like,
know.
so much for that, for the outreach.
Yeah,
Yes.
I really hope we be able to do it because that's such a joy. I love everything I do with this job. That's one of the
Yeah.
most favorite things to do
Yes.
is to go out there and you see how it's grown and grown and grown over the
Mhm.
years, but safety is first, and I wanted to make sure that I'm willing to do it, but I need the blessing of your municipality that you want to come out there, you know, that you can understand that, so, and I think we could do it in a safe manner. I do.
Yes.
And everything. So that's where we are, it's subject to change, you know, we'll see what happens, but at least we have it on the books to go.
Good.
Everything. So that's where we are with everything, and I'm grateful for my staff, the hardworking, stretched every department, everybody, you know, but, the work is being done. Rest assured to the taxpayers, all the work is being done. Even though we're closed, all the work is being done and accomplished. And I think this report supports that. So, any questions?
I'm fine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have one on the outreach. You indicated that all but one of the municipalities has consented to having you come out. Are you at liberty to tell us which municipalities?
Sure, I will. You know, it's a union. Okay, you know, they were just a little hesitant, and I respect that. And just goes to show me they have to be comfortable with it. But here's what's important to know, and this is as it gets closer, and, you know, when we roll out the press release on value of tax payments, and if it comes up, you know, while U.S. commissioners are out there, you could go anywhere. Okay, those people, those taxpayers in Union could go to Bessemer, they can go to Mahoning Township. You could go anywhere. I have people from all over
Right.
coming. You just don't go to where you live. You could go anywhere. So it is open, you know, and everything. But I do respect that that was the choice, and I understand it completely, you know. So we're in uncharted territory with her, you know, and to do it. But I respect those that
Yes.
are going to pass this year.
Sure.
There was only one out of 23. So.
All right, well, thank you for all your hard work and thank you staff as well.
Thank you
Absolutely.
kindly.
And looking forward to another very productive year.
God willing, yes.
And you're coming to retirement board meeting here after this?
Any other questions? We're good?
I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Public comments, I'll check my emails, the signals were down here, I'll check my emails. I get back up top, and if anyone commented, via email, at that point, that'll be entered into the record. Fiscal contractual, only thing we have here is 7/2021, I'll give my colleagues a minute to check that over, before taking the motion to accept the warrant register. The warrant register is the culmination of the county's fiscal process, which starts with the department head submitting a purchase order to the controller's office. The controller's office then checks to make sure that there's money in the budget to pay that purchase order out. Purchase order is then sent up to the commissioner's office, where 2 commissioners are required to sign it before it goes back down to the controller's office, where the controller verifies that 2 commissioners have signed it, sends it to the treasurer, and the amount is paid out. When the amount's paid out, it's recorded that the amount signed off on was indeed paid, and we approve. So do we approve or disapprove?
What is BYO recreation?
I know what that is.
Okay, thank you.
It's our CDBG project with Elwood City, and they're doing a core park, and they're buying some recreation equipment.
Okay,
So it's under CDBG funds, and so yep, that's the name of the
thank
company.
you. Okay. There you
Get
go.
out of here.
I know, right?
There you
It's like, okay. Well, having my question answered, I will move to have the warrant register approved.
There's a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question is on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Up next, we have the minutes from January 5, 2021, our first meeting of the new year. I'll give my colleagues a minute to look those over and then take a motion to approve.
And I will make that motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. We have 2 written communications being presented before us today. One is from Hillcorp Energy Company, the Mahoning Siebel Central Facility. A letter reads, Dear Commissioners, on behalf of Hillcorp Energy Company, Power Engineers Incorporated is providing this notification. Hillcorp is submitting a GP5 general permit renewal application to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection Air Quality Program for Hillcorp's Mahoning Siebel Central Facility located in Mahoning Township, Lawrence County. The GP5 is being submitted to authorize the continued operation of the facility. Air emission sources of the facility include compressor engines equipped with catalysts, glycol dehydrators and associated reboilers, fluid storage tanks, line heaters, tanker truck loadouts, pneumatic devices, venting blowdowns, pigging operations, fugitive emissions, and a flare for emissions control.
Okay.
Please don't ask me what half of that is.
Mr. Chairman.
I wanted.
Next up is a NPDES permit for discharge associated with industrial activities permit for Newcastle Recycling. Purpose of this is to inform you of our intent to submit a Nash 15 Gardner Ave, Newcastle, PA 16101. And that is being submitted through a corporation called EnviroThink. But I will note, as whenever a company, individual, or any other entity requests various permit applications or various permits approvals from DEP, Department of Transportation, or other agencies, Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners has no authority to green light or red light, as far as I'm aware, any of matter of procedure that we're notified of activities taking place in our should contact the office, which has approval authority in both these cases. That office is the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, which, by the way, notice they switched directors up there. His name's not coming to mind right now, but they moved the one director of DEP down to the Southwest region, and they're bringing up somebody else for the Northwest region. We fall under the Northwest region. He was a good guy, though. I met him a couple of times.
Okay.
I'll take a motion to accept and file written communications.
So moved.
Second, we have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have no proclamations today, although I think we will probably have one pretty soon. Staff reports. Is there any member of staff here that has anything to report above and beyond what's already on the agenda? Seeing none. Commissioner reports and comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to just take a moment to tribute to a gentleman who passed away, I believe, yesterday. He was a member of the Shenango Area School Board of Directors, but that was only the tip of the iceberg as far as his community involvement. The person to whom I'm referring is Mr. Sam Biasucci. Sam was a retired banker. He spent his career in banking here in the community. And even prior to retirement, but particularly after his retirement, his passion became the community, and he served it in many, many aspects. It would probably take me at least a half an hour to list all the boards he served on. And he had a real passion for education. He had a real passion for young people. He had a real passion for the economic development of this community. On a lighter note, always well dressed. Even upon retirement, you never saw Sam without a suit and a tie. I don't recall I ever saw him without a tie. And the running joke was that people speculated that when he would cut his grass at home, he would wear a coat and tie. And of his talents to this community. And he set, I think, a wonderful example that all of us should try to follow. The final note I'll make, and I think it's the most appropriate honor that he received, and it was just a few years ago, and I know you were there, and you may have been there when the Jack Butts annual dinner was held, which honors high school students, but also honors an adult in the community who best exemplifies humanitarianism. And Sam was the recipient that year. And it's my understanding that for a number of years prior to that, the committee that makes the selection approached him and he declined the award. His reasoning was that other people were more deserving. Quite honestly, that wasn't true. He was most deserving. In closing, I'll offer, I'm sure on behalf of the very grateful community, our collective sympathy to his wonderful wife, Mrs. Biasucci, who taught for many years in the Newcastle School District, and all of his family. He will certainly be missed, and please keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. This county is very, very fortunate to have had him be part of the community, and he will certainly be missed. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those words.
Yes.
All right, and with that, we already heard from the district attorney regarding the Savin resolution. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns on that one? All right, we'll make that resolution 2021-3. All three. The meeting one. Up next, Director McKinney, would you be able to approach the bench? We've got, looks like a whole bunch of stuff from planning.
Great.
It's a whole bunch of stuff from there.
Yes. Which one would you like me to talk about first?
Let's do the home grant funds.
Okay, so presenting this on behalf of Lawrence County Social Services, just my name, Jen, and Mike, I can handle it for them, but of course, if you have any other questions, I can feel free to reach out to them if there's an answer. They are requesting to apply again on behalf of the county for a DCD home weatherization. The request amount is $100,000. I did have a summary attached, but basically what this is for owner-occupied housing units that have been deferred for weatherization assistance to bring them up to code. They're looking to hopefully do 12 projects with these funds. That any person could receive up to a maximum of $35,000. But we would, obviously look back at that. If it would exceed that, we'd go back and look at that soft cap limit. The application deadline is the 29th of this month.
All right.
So the resolution, Commissioner Boyd's able to sign off on everything.
All right, I don't have any issue with that.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Pyatt's Landscaping County-owned boat launches.
Okay, so the next three resolutions
That'll be
are
resolution 2021-4. Sorry.
all for Pyatt's Landscaping to recontract with them for the first resolution would be for our boat launches. We have one on the Beaver River, the Bevington boat launch, the two on the Shenango, which is the McQuestion and Millennium, two on the Mahoney, which is the Beyond Wharf and the McKinney Russell. This includes them doing the monthly mowing and trimming around the signs, the ramps, the boat launches, grabbing garbage if needed, at $212 for each mowing, for an amount not to exceed $7,420.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, is that paid for out of general fund dollars or is that paid for out of CDBG?
No, it can't be out of city, that's paid out of the Act $13, the Commissioner's Act 13 money that's used for recreation.
Okay.
Out all the,
That's free money.
for years, yeah, so and I did confirm that with Joe last week, and he said that's where it would come from this year too, so.
All right. Make that 2021-5, and you tied Stavish into that one, right?
Which one was
The Pius, did you talk about Stavish and
No,
how?
not yet, so 2021-4 is the boat launches, right?
5 boat launches.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, 4 was the home grant, see? And the next one is Stavish, yeah, so this is for them to mow Stavish Bike Trail. That one, so it was like $18,000, something like that. More maybe.
$18,399.
Yeah, and so that's them doing monthly mowings, and it's not just mowing, it's them riding the trail, they have a brush hog, because the overgrown, the bikers hit that, we're liable. He picks up the trash, But Jack also serves as kind of like a second set of eyes for us. He is an avid
Sure.
bike rider. So he always updates us when there's damage on the trail that he can't fix, that we need to make sure we pull them and taking care of it before someone gets hurt. And he does the same thing with both launches
Right.
and West Park for us.
If I may,
Yes.
thank you. I have a number of friends who utilize the Stavich Bike Trail quite frequently, and they have been very complimentary of this company and the good work that they've done throughout the course of the year as far as keeping it mowed and well-maintained. And they say there's a real distinct difference. You know when you're in the Pennsylvania portion, and you know when you're in the Ohio portion, they're very different. That's a real credit to your department, to Pyatt Landscaping. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. And then we'll make that 6, and then 7, West Park.
Yep, West Park would be some monthly mowing, also brush hogging. You remember we have a mountain trail, a mountain bike trail back there, so he goes back there and maintains that as well. Again, another set of eyes for us,
Right.
lets us know there, because we have issues up there with ATV riders, so he makes us aware of that. And then, so that amount would be for, again, $10,457, starting in April with the last moment in October.
All right, questions, comments on any of those?
No.
All right, I don't see any foresee any issues with any of those.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Anything else for me?
I don't think so. I think that's just about wraps it up.
Okay, thank you guys very much, appreciate it.
Okay, thank
Nice
you.
meeting you. Thanks.
Thanks.
Next up, we'll make this resolution 2021-8. Appointing Frank Tellez Jr., Volant, PA, specifically Washington Township, but the address is Volant. Reappointing him to the Lawrence County Planning Commission with a term to expire December 31, 2024. Questions, comments on that? All right, I am going to go on record. I'm going to vote no on this one. And I'm not going to vote no for my normal reason, which is that I made a campaign promise, which I wouldn't vote for anybody who have been appointed or served more than 2 terms, just because I think it's good to have it transition. In this instance, I'm voting no on this one due to a lack of performance from this individual on the planning commission. So I have the minutes pulled for all the planning commission meetings in 2018, 2019, and 2020. And in each of those years, there were 9 planning commission meetings. Some are canceled due to a lack of business, but in each of those years, there happened to be 9. And in 2018, Mr. Tellez attended, of the 9 meetings, 3 of those meetings. In 2019, of the 9 meetings, Mr. Tellez also attended 3 of those meetings. And in 2020, of the 9 meetings, Mr. Tellez attended 4 of those meetings. So over the course of 3 years, he's only attended 10 of 27 planning commission meetings. And the rationale that he's given our planning department for this is that either he's too busy that many meetings. And I mean, that attendance record just isn't okay with me. I mean, at some level, since when are we okay with one of our board members, only 1 in 3 meetings over the course of a 3-year time period? And I guess my question is, can we not half of them? I mean, to me, he's just not interested in doing the job. We'll make that resolution unless there's any further comment, 2021-8. Up next, we have Director Bout with CYS. Thank you for waiting for us here, John. Good to see you.
Good to see you also.
Where we have a number of different resolutions
Well, thank you.
Yes.
relating to routine contractual obligations that the county takes on year over year. So what do we have going? And you can just do them all together. We're not going to, I'm not going to explicitly direct 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll label the resolutions, but if you want to go over them all together, I'm not going to interrupt you.
Sure. Permanent child use services. This is renewal, placement services ranging from 3810 per day up to 254.80 per day. They're in Crawford County. Currently served, we have 1 youth. Previously served, we had 2. And the total cost to the county was 20% share. Three Rivers Adoption Council.
Forgive me,
Yes,
may I ask a
Yes.
question before you move along? And I may be wrong, but would you mind if you're able to, double checking, this is very minor, it's very technical, but the address, you have it listed as Cambridge, PA. Should that be Cambridge Springs?
That should be Cambridge Springs.
Okay, and again, I told you it was very minor, but that caught my eye for purposes of modify the proposal to include the word Springs on the address.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So amended.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very good.
Three Rivers Adoption Council, this is a renewal for placement. $70.87 is the rate. It's in Allegheny County. Currently 1 youth served, previously 2. And again, county share is 20% of the total.
Okay.
Mars Home for Youth. This is a renewal. Rate is $80. It's in Butler County. Currently, 3 youth served by JPO, through JPO, 2 through CYS. Last year, 19 through CYS and JPO. And the total breakdown is 5% to the county, 95% to other funding sources. And then last, Family Pathways. This is a renewal. Rate is $30, located in Butler. Currently 0 children placed, last year 4, and the total percentage to the county, 20% of the total.
All right. Questions, comments for Director Bauer? We will make those resolutions 2021-9 through 2021-12. And John, you're free to stick around if you'd like. If not, I understand the CYS is an extraordinarily involved occupation. If you've got to take off, we completely understand.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Hope have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, you too.
Yes, you too.
Thanks, John.
Up next, we have resolution 2021-13, which is providing for transportation funds for 2 projects in Neshannock Township. First is $50,000 to a road repair project on Clover Lane. And next is $96,000 to a bridge repair project on Graceland Road. I'll note that these allocations are legacy requests from the 2020 year, which is why we're considering them now. And to that end, because this is the year in which we're voting upon them. And so to that end, dollars that we have allocated for municipal aid will decrease to $550,000, taking out the Clover. The Graceland Road Bridge Repair Project comes out of our Act 13 fund and is on the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Plan, which means that we'll get reimbursed for the vast majority of those dollars. That does not come out of the same pot of money. Questions, comments, concerns?
No.
I do have just, again, a minor technical, and I'll ask if you're both willing to do this just for purposes of specificity. Under for use on Graceland Road, would you mind if we get a little more specific and say the Graceland Road Bridge?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Since it is the bridge, not the road itself. And then, thank you for that. And then, interesting piece of trivia regarding Neshannock Township, and I happen to remember this from my days as a township supervisor. The township actually only has 2 bridges in the entire township for which they are responsible, this being one of them. And the other one is actually on Clover Lane. And if you stop and think about it, the other bridges, such as the King's Chapel Bridge, which crosses 376, that's a PennDOT bridge. And any bridge along 376 is PennDOT's. So a township of that size, they only have 2 bridges. Now they have culverts, obviously, but But as far as formal bridges, these are the only two that they have.
I'm jealous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I make that resolution 2021-13. As always, we're happy to assist the municipalities with their transportation needs.
Absolutely.
Up next, we have, make this resolution 2021-14, which appoints William Bordenero as Lawrence County Director of Information Technology, effective January 18th, which is next Monday, 2021. The Board of Commissioners conducted an extensive interview process. I can tell you that we received probably 50 to 75 resumes. I mean, the stack of resumes was that thick. For an in-person interview here in the county, in this room for the purpose of social distancing,
Correct.
where the candidate sat there. I think Loretta and I were up here. There's a little desk over there that's fit for a first grader.
Long-legged Joe.
Was sitting
We got him sitting there.
Dan was over there where where Vanessa and Chris sit, and Karen was back in the back. So we were all adequately distanced out. And Mr. Bordenero, I think we all found was an exceptional candidate, and I'm certain will do an exceptional job in helping to move our county's IT department further into the 21st century. You know, I can say that over the course of the next couple of years, I'm anticipating and making significant investments to modernize our infrastructure and our information technology department. And I think Mr. Bordenero is the man for that job. We're looking forward, at least I'm looking forward, and I'm sure my colleagues are too. I'm not going to speak for him on this one, but looking forward to working with him
Yes.
to achieve those objectives. But questions or comments from either of my colleagues?
I will say, interestingly enough, we all came with a series of different questions, and we hadn't discussed them prior to coming to the interviews, but answering the questions, I myself was talking about teaching old dogs new tricks and things like that, and to me that means a whole lot because there are, people that have been working with the county for quite some time in technology, and I include myself in that. Technology is to me, that meant a lot, having somebody that would be personable and be able to have the patience to work with the employees. And he was very quick to answer and very calmly stated that he has dealt with that throughout his career, and he would certainly do, whether it be once, twice, or 3 times or more, to ensure that they felt comfortable doing what it was that they needed to do with their machinery. After getting the day-to-day challenges that are here within the county with so many different offices and demands and the personality. So best of luck to him and can't wait to get started. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I concur with Commissioner Spielvogel's comments. We were, I think, collectively impressed with the 5 people that we interviewed. And we were able to reach the consensus that the offer should be made to Mr. Bordenero. But again, that's not to speak poorly of the other ones. They were all impressive. But I'm excited for him. I think he'll hit the ground running. And I do want to note, I'd be remiss if I didn't make note of the fact that Mr. Rick DeBello and Mr. Ken Harding, and they were here as county employees for many, many years. And they were always, both of those gentlemen were always the needs of the employees. It's a challenging position because, as you've both noted, you get pulled in a lot of directions, and the vast majority of our employees utilize either laptops or PCs or what have you. And but I think Mr. Bordenero's well here in the courthouse complex and the auxiliary buildings. They will welcome him as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Make that resolution 2021-14. Up next, we have two resolutions. We'll name them resolutions 2021-15 and 2021-16. Now, this has sort of been the practice here because they're conservation district positions, and Commissioner Vogler is our representative to the Lawrence County Conservation District Board. Dan, I'll let you cover both of these resolutions for the board.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. These are essentially, and Vanessa, I'll look to you on this. These are corrective proposals.
Yeah.
We're amending existing resolutions that had been previously passed. The State Conservation Commission is very specific as far as whether or not an individual on the Conservation Board is either a farmer director or a member of the public. And consequently, that's why we're doing this today. Mr. Don Hoy of Wilmington Township, when we originally made the appointment, him incorrectly listed as a farmer director. And what we're doing today is simply amending that and clarifying the fact that Mr. Hoy is a public director on the board. Doesn't change his status. He's still a board member. His term will still expire at the same time as it was, just the fact that we're making note that he's a public director, not a farmer director. And then as it relates to Mr. Blaine Sturgeon of Perry Township, we're amending we're amending the expiration date. Mr. Sturgeon was appointed to replace Mr. Romeo, is that correct?
Yes.
Frank Romeo of Pulaski Township had served on the Conservation Board for many, many years, and he had to step aside, and it was then recommended by, through the nomination process, that Mr. Sturgeon of Perry Township be appointed to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Romeo. And when we originally passed the resolution, we had his expiration date as December 31 of 2023. We've had to clarify that, and this resolution does that. His expiration date will be December 31 of 2021. So those are the two proposals, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions, comments? Yeah. All right.
Thank you both.
Absolutely. Make those the aforementioned numbered resolutions.
Could you repeat those numbers for me?
Sure. 15 and 16.
Yes.
Mr. Hoy is 15 and Mr. Sturgeon is 16.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It's bad when you miss a number, then you have to go back. I'm off the number, you
Up next, we have three administrative transfers. One is from the district attorney in the district attorney's office, contingency to district employee, or to district attorney employee insurance in the amount of $719.14. Rationale for this is that there is an individual starting in that position that is currently unfilled. That individual is starting a little bit earlier than we had initially anticipated, and because of that, we're going to incur an extra month's worth of insurance costs related to that employee. Part B, controller from part-time to contracted services for $2,500. This is the controller's office currently, due to personal circumstances of one of the employees, is significantly short-staffed. This allows the controller to bring in someone for the rest of the month of January to assist with the operations of that office. January is an exceptionally busy month for the controller due to all the different reporting requirements that come out of that office. And it's being taken internally. Finally, we have human resources from HR contingency to HR salary staff for $1,000. This corresponds with the $1,000 increase given the deputy director of human resources. This allows us to pay that out after that line item it's been depleted for what was budgeted for, which was $1,000 beneath
Right.
what is now the current salary.
Okay.
Questions or comments on any of those?
No.
I'll take a motion to approve administrative transfers A through C.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion, a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'll take a motion to amend the agenda to allow for voting on resolutions 2021-3 through 2021-16.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 2021-3, now be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that an agreement is made and entered into by and between Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency, Pennsylvania District Attorney Institute, and Lawrence County to implement a SAVIN program effective for the period of January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-4, now therefore be resolved that housing need exists in the region that's been identified in local and state consolidated and comprehensive plans, and the proposed housing activity addresses this need. And 2, the county has conducted the required citizen participation process. And 3, the county has granted Lawrence County Social Services, which is an affiliate of LCAP, to make an application for and administrate such funds in the amount of $500,000. And 4, the county will reimburse the Commonwealth for any expenditures found by DCED to be ineligible. And 5, the county commissioners shall be directed to execute a certificate to the adoption of this resolution, furnish a copy to the Department of Community and Economic Development. And 6, the commissioner chairman is hereby authorized to execute all documents pertaining to the application and administration of these funds. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion? Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-5, now to be resolved by Lawrence County for the annual maintenance of all county-owned boat launches with Pyatt Landscaping, located at 3374 West Pittsburgh Road, Newcastle, PA, for an amount not to exceed $7,000. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion? Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-6, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that the Commissioners adopt and approve the contract renewal for annual maintenance of Stavish Bike Trail with Pyatt Landscaping located at the address as I mentioned. In the past resolution for an amount not to exceed $18,391. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. A motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-7, now therefore be resolved, Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, that the Commissioners approve the contract renewal for the annual maintenance of West Park Nature Center with Pyatt Landscaping for an amount not to exceed $10,457. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-8, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, the following shall be reappointed to Lawrence County Planning Commission for the term listed. Frank Tellez of Washington Township be reappointed to Lawrence County Planning Commission with a term to expire December 31, 2024. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. I will note not to harp on it, but if a commissioner had the attendance record that Mr. Tellez had in the Planning Commission, that commissioner would not attend a single meeting until the end of August. But we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
No.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-9, now to be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. The purchase service agreement under the provider Hermitage House Youth Services shall be in effect for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. Costs are only incurred if the provider or services being used by Lawrence County per the agreement. Authorization is hereby given to execute an agreement with the following service provider, Hermitage House Youth Services. I'm going to read them all and we'll take all of them in one motion if that's acceptable to everybody, because they're all the same
Sure.
resolution. 2021-10 is the same effective
Mhm.
resolution with Three Rivers Adoption.
Right.
11 is with MHY Family Services, and 12 is with Family Pathways. I'll take a motion to approve resolutions 2021-9 through 2021-12 with the understanding of whoever makes the motion that a yes, affirmative vote for the individual motion equates to an affirmative vote on all four of these resolutions. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion? Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All four of those are approved.
Yes.
Resolution 2021-13, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to allocate 2021 liquid fuels funds as follows. Neshannock Township for use on Clover Lane in the amount of $50,000. That's coming out of liquid fuels. Neshannock Township for use on the Graceland Road Bridge in the amount of $96,000. That's coming out of our Act 13 fund. Again, that's on the tip, so we'll get reimbursed for that. Do we have a motion?
Moved.
Second. Motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-14, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that William Bordenero be appointed as the Information Technology Director. This be effective January 18th, 2021. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have an IT Director.
Yay.
Resolution 2021-15, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners that the Farm Director position shall be amended to a Public Director position held by Mr. Hoy in accordance with the State Conservation Board. Do we have a motion?
Moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 2021-16, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Term shall be amended to expire on December 31, 2021 in accordance with the State Conservation Board. This relates to Mr. Sturgeon. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Our next regularly scheduled Commissioners meeting will be for 10 a.m. 19th, 2021 in the Commissioners meeting room. There will be a prison board meeting on Wednesday, January 20th, 2021 at 12 o'clock noon. We have I'll do this actually first. On Monday, January 18th, the courthouse will be closed to the public in commemoration of Martin Luther King Day. According to county ordinance, the Board of Commissioners, whenever there be an opening for any authority to which the Board of Commissioners appoints the members, the board is required to both announce that opening to the public at 2 commissioners meetings before formally making an appointment. And additionally, any individuals who we appoint to these positions must undergo a background check. So to that end, there is a singular opening on the Lawrence County Industrial Development Authority Board, and there is a singular opening on the Lawrence County Housing Authority Board. I'll also note, because the Housing Authority is mentioned here, that we have no administrative powers over any of these authorities beyond appointing the members of the board. Once we appoint the members of the board, those board members are free to do as they wish, with the only caveat being that if we strongly disapprove with the actions taken by those board members, we have the ability after their term expires to not renew that appointee. Anything on this?
If I may, just for the record, the opening on the IDA, the current chairman of that board is Robert Fote, who resides in New Wilmington Borough. Very fine man. Bob, for many years, was the county controller and is well thought of in the community. But Bob has indicated his desire to not be reappointed. And we'll certainly miss Bob, but we appreciate the many years of service that he's given. So that is an actual true opening, so to speak, since he does not desire to be reappointed. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Again, if there are any public comments, they may comment. If anyone wishes to provide a public comment, they may do so by emailing me at mboyd@co.lawrence.pa.us. I will forward whatever comments come through to my other 2 colleagues, and those comments will be incorporated into the meeting minutes for this meeting. And on that, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Questions on the motion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Lawrence County Board of Commissioners is adjourned. We're going to take a 10-minute break here, maybe even a 5-minute break. And at that point, we'll call everybody on retirement board back together. We just have a couple clerical housekeeping things that we need to get done. But if any of you want to go grab a water or something else, we'll give it about 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
minutes. You know, if
And one and then
Huh?